Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome to episode 6. I am the Hack Hunter, and I'll be bringing you all the way to the heart of Texas today to hunt down a very particular hack that I think you're going to want to avoid. But at the same time, I found some truly awesome tattooers as well. Sit back, relax, let's find some hacks. Okay, my lead today comes from a guy named Leo in Bellmead, Texas. Leo says, "Yo, Hack Hunter, my homeboy thinks he's the best tattooer in town, but I want to hear from you if he's actually legit or not. Here's all his info, please check him out. Also, I want to know if there's any good Hispanic tattooers around here that could do a dope-ass pocket watch for me. Thanks." Well, Leo, I did check out your buddy's work, and something tells me you guys are not going to be friends after he hears what I got to say about it. Let's break it down. Okay, this is Leo's buddy. His name is Frank the Don Sauceda. You can check him out on Instagram at frankie.sauceda. Also, he is working at Ink Flow Tattoo there in Bellmead, Texas. You can check them out at inkflotattoo.com. Let's check out some of his work. Right off the bat, save the worst for first. This is... I really don't know. It's some sort of zombie Hillary Clinton. I'm not sure. Look at this weird flowing hair on a zombie and the eyelashes there. I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know. I don't even want to speculate. But let me just break down some of the quality of application here. These lines, very dotty in here. You could tell his depth of his needle was very inconsistent. And then it looks like it's a work in progress, so part of me doesn't even like judging it right now. But seriously, it's not going to get better, guys. It's just not. The inconsistency in these letters in the teeth, too. Some are dark black, some are light gray. Ugh, oh my goodness. Alright, here's some beautiful custom drawn-on flame work. As far as color theory goes, you can tell that he really didn't have a plan for where to put the colors. Yellow, the tips of the flames are usually the brightest. It goes from, a blue flame up to a yellow flame, and with the reds in between. But here, he just kind of put the yellows and oranges in random spots. Even for a hot rod flame that's supposed to look like this, this is pretty lacking. The black down here is definitely not a solid, rich black, so it's not going to contrast the red as well. He also made the mistake of shading and then trying to color over his shading. You can blend black into a color, but you can't blend gray wash into a color. A lot of artists make this mistake, especially if they're not professionally trained. This is one that I found that just, it kind of showed how much he beats up the skin. This bright redness in here, that's not an intentional color that he applied. That's just, him putting in light gray wash, but he's just beating up the skin in the process. So when that heals, it's going to be twice as light as it is there, because most of the contrast you see is created by the blood underneath, not the actual ink. But as for the lines and stuff, again, really kind of choppy, inconsistent around the outer edge there. Very, very unflattering piece, I'm sorry to say. Here is another one of his beautiful skulls. I think this is on the back of his arm, I think. Yeah, that's the back of the arm. But the reason it looks so cartoony is, well, I don't think that the Dawn is necessarily a realism guy. He outlined the eyes here, which is always going to give it a cartoony vibe. Even for this sort of Hispanic style of art, outlining the eyes is always going to make them look like this. It's always going to look like a cartoon rather than a real person. The shading in the hair, again, it's just very kind of stringy and flowy. It doesn't have the look of natural hair in there. And, yeah, that jawline is just out of whack. Something like her skull's trying to escape her face. It just does not work that well. Here's the portrait he did that at first glance didn't look too bad, but I can tell just based on this person's skin tone, a lot of these lights, again, the light grays, they're just not going to heal well. They're going to basically disappear by the time it heals, and so ultimately this person is going to have very little depth to their face because he just used this light gray around the whole thing, and so there's just not going to be much contrast or much to define her cheekbones or her eye sockets very well. This was a custom piece by him that... Man, Leo, I think you knew what I was going to say about this guy. Eric, I think you got a long way to go, brother. You got a long way to go. You need to work with some better artists around you because just the inconsistencies in the line work and the shading, it's not coming out smooth. It's not coming out consistent. And I think it's all in your application. I think somebody could help you with that, but at the same time, the artwork is very lacking. You can study some of these Hispanic tattooers. There's some brilliant smooth gray work out there, but you need to get together with somebody and work on it. Here is a pocket watch. There's something a little weird about these numbers. These ones are right side up, and then all of a sudden these ones are upside down. And maybe they make pocket watches like that. I've never personally seen one. One thing I see from some of these less experienced tattooers is these very simple pocket watch hands. And I know some pocket watches have those, but when you're doing a giant one on the ball of the guy's arm here, like, you got room. You can make that a little bit more ornate. And the same with these gears in here. You just did a really flyby job on it. Real quick, real simple. And, you know, from a distance, that's going to look okay to people, but anybody that's zooming in and looking, and especially after it heals, it's just not going to look like a nice detailed pocket watch. It's just going to look like some jumbled lines on the inside there, unfortunately. Here's the last one I'm going to show you from him, a Virgin Mary. Really rough time on that face there. I think her eyes are supposed to be closed and you'd see like eyelashes and stuff, but it just looks like dark bags and dark circles around her eyes, almost like she's turning into a zombie as well. Yeah, the detail in the dress, there's usually sort of a floral pattern in the dress, but he just sort of randomly placed some lines in there, and again, it's pretty lacking. So, Eric, the Dawn, I don't think I would give you my blessing when it came to giving a dope-ass pocket watch, but Leo, stick around. I did find somebody that I think can live up to your expectations. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Eric Lopez. He's working out of Waco, Texas. Now, Leo, that's not too far away from you. I have no idea, though, if he's Hispanic or not. How can I ask these artists their ethnicity? But please, go check him out. Ask him for yourself. He is currently working at Embrace the Chaos Tattoos and Piercings. You can check him out at etctattoos.com. He's also got an Instagram. It is elopez TA2S on Instagram. Now, right off the bat, here is some of his smooth gray wash. That is just smooth. There's no other way to put it. It's just no trauma to the skin, just very delicate. He blends these medium and light grays perfectly. The main thing that makes this such a dynamic portrait is this rich black edge he did on the right side of her face. This is what was missing from Frank's work. A lot of his was just the same tone of gray throughout the whole face, and it's going to look washed out. It's going to look flat, two-dimensional. But when you get that contrast underneath the chin there and around the eyes, you really get that sense of depth. Here's another great sort of traditional Hispanic type piece with that lettering. Again, realism, beautifully done, really clean. Found another example. This portrait of this girl just blows my mind. This is completely healed piece, and you can just see how it comes out after it's healed. It's as smooth as it looks on day one. The black in the nostrils still really black. The white tips in the teeth there and the glare in the eyes, it's still bright white. Just an incredible job. Now, this is a relatively simple design, especially when you compare it to a lot of Eric's other stuff, but here's a pocket watch. And I don't know, Leo, you were asking for a dope-ass pocket watch. I don't know if this is a dope-ass one, but to me it is, especially because this glare effect he did here. This shows his experience. He knows how to do the face there of a watch. They always have this glass plating on there, and again with the hands, a lot of lesser artists are just going to put straight lines with arrows on them, but you can see he did this ornate little design with the hands to make him look like a more valuable pocket watch. Even though it's simple, from 10 feet away, you would recognize what that was, and it would look clean. And compared to Frank's over here, I know it's not a fair comparison. I know it's not, guys, but I just wanted to show, for Leo's sake, this is what you get with Frankie, this is what you're going to get with Eric. And there's really not much in the way of comparing the two. Here's a puppy portrait. I wanted to point this one out specifically for the bumps in the nose. Look at that. That looks like a photograph of a puppy's nose. You know there's tiny little bumps on there. It feels like you could reach out and touch it. That's just incredible attention to detail. He takes his time. And another great example of the exact same thing. Look at that texture there. Look at every single one of those bumps. Multiple tones of mint greens and black even in there, just so that you can see that texture clearly. And he contrasts the background really well as well. But the black in the mouth gives it the depth. Really, really beautiful piece. And I think it's the same thing. From 10 feet away, you would be able to recognize that sitting there on a tree branch. Here's another beautiful example of his color work. I love that he did the out of focus leaves in the background. That takes a lot of planning and thinking ahead to plan to do the out of focus, and then this rose is a lot more in focus than this one is. And, oh wait, I'm sorry. Are those roses? I don't know. Anyway, the hummingbird, again, the texture in the feathers. You can see each one of those little feather tufts in there. And the tiny little hairs in the wings. Just amazing attention to detail on every single one of his pieces. Now, this is one for all you parents out there. I wanted to showcase it specifically because I see so many parents, when they come in, they want something for their brand new baby or their young infant. They want a tattoo to kind of represent them. And so often people go with just the simple first idea they come up with, either just their name, or they do footprints or handprints or some sort of heart or infinity design. Just this person, along with Eric, came up with a beautiful way to represent his child. They took some things from his actual life that represent him, that have meaning to him, and they put it together in a piece. And I guarantee you this parent is not going to regret spending that time, energy, and money on this piece. It's going to stand the test of time, and when his child gets older, he's going to be blown away by it. Whereas, just a simple name, not so much. Your kid's gonna grow up and go, "Oh, you got my name on your chest," or whatever. It's not gonna have the same effect. But something when you really zoom in that blows my mind here. Look at the texture in that hat. You can tell that is like a suede or a corduroy kind of hat. You can see each of those lines coming down, but mainly the stitching here. Now, for those of you that aren't tattoo artists, you have to do the white last. So that means that he had to color around each one of these stitches. He had to get in there with a really tiny needle set and color around each one of these stitches. 3 rows of them, all the way up the hat, all the way around the hat. That takes time. That takes discipline. And he's just got it in droves. So, Eric Lopez, you're 100% Pack Hunter approved. Please, keep doing what you're doing. You're making the industry look good for the rest of us. Alright, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching the show. Make sure you subscribe because we put out new episodes every week. Also, hit the bell button so you get notified every time we post a new episode. So when we come to your city, you'll be sure to catch it. Thanks again. I'll see y'all next week.